In this module, we will discuss how equipment is designed in a GMP facility and how good documentation practices are an essential part of quality assurance and GMP. Equipment. All equipment is designed, constructed, and located to suit their intended use and to facilitate easy maintenance and cleaning. Equipment is installed in such a way as to prevent any risk of error or contamination and cleaned according to detailed and written procedures and stored only in a clean and dry condition. Production equipment should be designed in such a way as to not present any hazard to the products. The parts of the production equipment that come into contact with the product must not be reactive, additive, or absorptive to such an extent that it will affect the quality of the product and thus present any hazard. Any defective equipment should, if possible, be removed from production and quality control areas, or at least be clearly labeled as defective. When not in use, equipment should be covered to ensure it remains clean. Balances. Balances and measuring equipment of an appropriate range and precision should be available for production and quality control operations. All measuring devices are required to be calibrated and checked at defined intervals by appropriate methods, and adequate records of such tests should be maintained. Utilities. Fixed piping should be clearly labeled to indicate the contents and, where applicable, the direction of flow. Water pipes used in production, for example, purified water, water for injection, are sanitized according to written procedures that detail the action limits for microbial contamination and the measures to be taken. Electrical circuits should be identified and a record maintained of the load on each circuit to prevent inadvertent overload. Documentation. Good documentation practices are an essential part of quality assurance and GMP. It is important for a manufacturer to get the documentation right in order to get the product right. GMP documentation, for example, site master file, specifications, batch manufacturing formulae, batch manufacturing records, processing, labeling, testing instructions, standard operating procedures, protocol, technical agreements, records, certificates of analysis, reports, etc. should contain the following attributes of a good document. They should be attributable, legible, contemporaneous, original, accurate, complete, durable, corroborated, version-based, accessible, and authorized. Change control. Changes to GMP documentation, equipment, processes, systems, instrumentation, test methods, etc. are required to be controlled under a formal change control program. This program must consist of quality oversight to review the proposed changes, evaluate potential impact of the change, determine any potential risk to product quality, and to establish the required level of supplemental validation documentation required for the change. In many instances, changes will also require submission to the health authority for approval of the change. For example, changes impacting the submission documentation are subject to post-approval change guidances according to the health authority regulations. Change control is a critical aspect of the GMP systems.